Hi and welcome to the RudeJesus it's happened again.
Reach out, touch faith.
Easter, a time of contradictions. On the one hand, I love the chocolate eggs. On the other, hot cross buns give me gas. On the one hand, I love it that Jesus put his arse on the line for what he believed in. On the other, that the resurrection gives me gas. Hi and welcome to the RudeJesus Easter special. So, what's today's rant?
Jesus is not a god.
Wow, what a great subject for Easter. Now, I want to thank all of those YouTube goddies out there that sent me quotes proving that Jesus is God. Firstly, how can I put it? I don't actually see the Bible as proof of anything in particular. I think it's a wonderful guide for spirituality, but no more wonderful than any of the other religious books. Secondly, none of the bits that you've sent me, I would say, prove categorically, or at least have Jesus saying categorically, that he is God and that he has to be worshipped, otherwise you won't go to heaven. And I reckon if Jesus had believed something as important as him being the exclusive Son of God, and that if you didn't worship him you wouldn't get into heaven, I reckon he would have made it clearer, and he probably would have said it more often. Like when he said things like, we should be nice to each other, or money can't buy you love. Now, I'm not saying that out of context there aren't some great one-liners, like John chapter 10, verse 30. Jesus said, the Father and I are one. Ooh, they'll be the ladies. Yes, fine, but for most of chapter 10, Jesus makes it clear he's sent by the Father and only has the gnarly powers because God gave them to him. Also, later on in John chapter 10, I think it's mainly in verses 34 to 36, Jesus points out that the Scripture says, or the law of God says, that anyone that carries the message of God has God or is God. The quote is, you are gods. That's what God says. And oh my God, you've got me arguing Scripture, haven't you? You've got me arguing verses out of the Bible, interpreting verses out of the Bible, when I guess basically what I wanted to do all along was just argue good human common sense. And I think it's significant that Jesus didn't write a gospel. I think it's because he knew that as soon as he wrote something down, we'd start interpreting and reinterpreting, and pretty soon, we'd corrupt the program. At the end of the day, proving Jesus was God or not doesn't really prove anything. I guess the main reason why I like Jesus to be human is I just reckon it makes for a better story. If Jesus is Superman, then he's so far beyond us as to be irrelevant. The Jesus I like is just this guy that did the right thing when doing the right thing was a hard thing to do. And the doubt stuff rocks, because God already has form for being a total prat with Job. But if Jesus is God, then he's omnipotent. He knows he's going to win. And that's like he's got the cheat codes off the net, or he's saved the game just before a really hard bit. And that resurrection thing, I mean, it's like in one of those crappy Batman episodes where he's going to die and then some magical anti-shark, but he happened to have anti-shark repellent and that. Sometimes, like in Donnie Darko, the hero does have to die.
Your own personal Jesus, someone to hear your prayers, someone who cares.
And it's not as many seem to want to think because he was beat up, but because he kept getting back up again. And so when Jesus says, we should be nice to each other and be forgiving, I can't turn to him and say, hey, that's easy for you to say, God boy, you don't know what it's like to be human. And it means if he can be crucified for being nice to people, then I can put up with a little bit of suffering and try to be nice also. Until next time, keep it real.